Hi everyone, Jon Mitchell here, Mayor of New Bedford, and this is another installment of the Mayor's Weekly Update. I have a couple of big items to talk about this week. The first concerns the Vineyard Wind project, the offshore wind project that will be staged from the Port of New Bedford and will be the first industrial scale offshore wind project in the United States. It got its biggest approval this week from the federal government, from the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, to move forward. There are certain other approvals that have to happen, but this was the big one. And it is going to mean a considerable amount of activity on our waterfront. Just to give you a sense of it, it's a $3 billion plus project, and they will be starting work next year in 2022 on our waterfront with these massive components of offshore windmills that you will not miss when you drive by them. You'll be able to see them from pretty far away in the city. And then they'll go out to sea where they're beyond anybody's sight lines. But the activity here will be quite significant. This is something that we've been preparing for a long time, as you know, because we see the offshore wind industry is holding a great deal of promise. It has delivered thousands of jobs to European ports over the last 20 years, and now it's coming to the United States. And so New Bedford is ready. We've done a lot of planning, we've done a lot of investing on the waterfront, and we're really looking forward to seeing things happen. And so that's been really good news for New Bedford. We're getting lots of good national attention as a result. The other thing I want to talk about, of course, today is COVID. There are a number of things to update you on. So the surge facility in the North End this week just discharged its last patient, which is good news. It's a mark that, it's an indication that hospitalizations are declining. The facility served several dozen people over the last couple of months. It got online just in time for the January surge, so that was something that really helped decompress the hospital system in our region. And so they're going to keep it on standby for the next 60 days, just in case there's another surge. But I want to thank the Essex Group, and I want to thank that ran the place and that has been running the place, and all of our city crews for getting that facility ready. Really did help out a lot of people and at a time of need. One thing that I did want to mention too is something about vaccinations. So I know a lot of people are getting their appointments now, whether it's at the mass vaccination site over at Circuit City or through healthcare providers. If you're having any trouble getting your appointments, one other place to look, as we've discussed before, is through the city. The city gets a fairly modest amount of vaccine doses. We've been using them primarily, as I've mentioned, at senior living facilities so that we can get some of the more vulnerable people in our city their shots. But vaccine supply will continue to increase, we expect, and so we expect that there will be some more availability for others. We really want to get those doses into the arms of the most vulnerable, seniors and those who have underlying health conditions of any age. So one thing you can do if you're striking out with the state, if you're not getting an immediate appointment, is to call the Council on Aging at the number you see on the screen, and they can set you up with an appointment. They're going down a list of people, and what happens is that you might not hear for a few days, but then they'll go down the list all at once and get people into a clinic that we have running over at the Andre McCoy Rec Center. So keep that in mind. The last thing I want to say is that this week marks 1 year of the pandemic, since the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a pandemic, a global pandemic, and when there were shutdowns at every level, at the state level here in the city. This is the week when I declared an emergency condition, and we've been in it's been a full year, and it's been a long year, and it's been a year of a lot of hardship. At this point, there have been over 330 people who've died here in New Bedford alone. There's been a lot of loss and a lot of hardship, and and a lot, frankly, a lot of hard work and commitment and selflessness at the same time in response, which has been very inspiring to see. I do believe that the worst is behind us, but it's not all of it's behind us at this point. So as vaccinations continue to roll out, we have to keep in mind that even as the weather gets warmer and things feel better, we've got to keep our masks on. We've got to continue to be distant from one another. There's guidance about people who have been vaccinated that allows them to get it to interact with others a little more closely now, but I would still be very careful as time goes on. We want to get to herd immunity. We've all heard a lot about that over the last year, and we want to make sure that the most vulnerable people out there have their shots. We know that COVID really does correlate, or I should say, people who get sick tend to be older people, and we want to make sure that they're being taken care of. So let's keep at it. Let's keep at it. Let's see it through so we can get to a much better place as a city and as a nation and as a world in response to COVID. That's the Mayor's Update. I'll see you next week.